This is the Dogecoin 1 month overview reading for the month of January 2024. It's currently November 27th, 2023, 9:01 p.m. Eastern Time. Dogecoin at the time of this reading is currently 0.07844, just under 8 cents USD. The shuffle video for the January reading for Dogecoin was created on October 25th, 2023 at 2:23 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here. So the overall theme and behavior for Dogecoin in January is very mixed. Like many of these stocks and crypto that I'm seeing in January readings, we've got some highs and lows, like back and forth going on. There's a lot of trade opportunities specifically like in the month of January for Dogecoin. It's an auspicious moment to trade, or there's several auspicious moments to trade. It looks like they may be involved in sharp declines. This trade opportunity is crossed with the beginning of a rally or the commencement of like a multi-day rally with at least one notable move higher. Behavior around the highest high for the month of January, an important support level highlighted on a 1-year chart scale minimum at the highest high. So it'll be an important price level, and we'll do sideways rotation there. Important on a 1-year chart scale, and we'll do sideways rotation there, attempting to establish support. But being that it's in the high significator position, it obviously won't hold. And the behavior around the lowest low, it looks like the lowest low for the month may be within close time proximity to the highest high for the month. It's possible. You could read it that way because of the correlation, the cross-reading correlation here. But behavior out of the lowest low will be an unexpected move higher. There'll probably be a lot of like overwhelming headwinds. Either that or really significantly negative looking chart behavior that would imply further to go on the downside. But instead we move higher in the face of all of that out of the low. And before we go any further and get into the day-by-day chart behavior as well as the prominent highs and lows and trades and all that stuff, I want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. And we do that with your help by following the rule of karma for the channel. Now, the rule of karma for the channel is the unwritten agreement between the universe and anybody utilizing this information for personal gain. The universe has no problem with people utilizing this information for personal gain as long as they are simultaneously helping other people. And so you fulfill that through the rule of karma. 5% of the profits from every profitable trade should be donated forward here on our resources tab of our website, Tarot Traders. Should be donated forward to one of these charities here. Just click here and donate. Super easy. And then 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel here at one of these links. That leaves you with 90% of the money. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you do that, my friends, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold for being an angel investor of the channel. Neglect to follow through on the rule of karma, which is the agreement with the channel and the universe and yourself, then the universe is going to neglect to hold up its end of the agreement as well. So first off, before we get rolling, I want everybody to understand that we have the dates of the month one by one numbered here from left to right. Each card represents about 1 day of time, but the card's energy will not line up perfectly in some cases with 1 day of time, so we have to make sure that we give it plus or minus 1 day of wiggle room. In some very rare cases it's 2, but I consider that a bad reading. The sequence of events always remains accurate, even if we're off by a day here or there. So on the first, we have a halting of a bullish trend marked by a sharp decline through key support. It looks like that bullish trend probably goes to a prominent peak or crest on the cusp of the first second, and then we have a notable decline. There's a universal hexagram energy there, and a ace of discs, so a notable decline to a support level there. A lot of price change to the downside, and then there's most likely another prominent peak towards the end of the day as well. So a lot of back and forth going on, and there's 3 trade opportunities on the second that we'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. On the third, we have a notable decline. So that second peak around the cusp of the second third, there'll be a notable move into it after a sharp decline, and then it looks like another sharp decline on the third, another prominent peak on the fourth. So some real back and forth going on. There's actually like a prominent trough early in the day on the fourth, a prominent peak on the fourth, and then a sharp decline on the fifth, another universal hexagram decline, which will happen in the midst of a pop and drop on the fifth. There's an important price level highlighted here on the 6th, 7th, which may really be important on like the scale of like a multi-year scale, because what I'm seeing in the multi-year reading, which I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version, that and combine that with the Emperor card as the high significator, this is probably a really important price level here on the 6th. And it looks like we break through it on the 7th, at least momentarily, creating another prominent high for the month, standing out on a 1-month chart. And then we break back down. And then on the 8th, we have another move higher through that same price level, followed by a full retracement of that move back down through it, creating like a capital A in the English language. We have quite a few trade opportunities. There are trade opportunities on the 4th, 5th, a trade opportunities on the 7th, 8th, and then there's trade opportunity here on the 9th. We have a period of sideways rotation at a prominent trough on a 1-month chart scale, and then a big move out of that trough, standing out on a 1-month chart scale. Trough on the cusp of the 9th, 10th as well, and a rally out of that one along a diagonal trend line, breaking through a horizontal resistance to meet a second resistance before pulling back to somewhere between those 2 price levels. And then it's very likely that we have that price level one more time on the 11th. It's very possible. And there's a prominent peak or crest around the 10th, 11th. We bump along resistance around the 12th sideways. There's a trade opportunity there. And then I'm not really seeing the same drop here that I saw in a lot of the other readings, somewhere around the 13th, but we do end up going into pretty significant troughs after this, the 13th. So it might be somewhere around the 11th, 12th, 13th that we have a pretty sharp drop. Matter of fact, there's a sharp drop there on the 14th. It looks like it's on the 14th. It's that orange correlation. And we'll drop to an important technical price level on a 1-year chart scale there on the 15th. I might have left out sideways rotation on the 13th with a prominent peak or crest there on the towards the end of the day. It'll stand out on a 1-month chart. We'll talk about the trade opportunities in more detail in the paid version, as well as where the highest highs and lowest low are as far as timing and price level information that we extrapolate. You get any relevant trades from a multi-year standpoint, from a multi-month standpoint, and then also from the multi-day standpoint. And we tell you what type of chart behavior to look out for as far as entry and exit around those timings. There's also the comparative performance between Dogecoin and Bitcoin over the same January 2024 time period. All that in the paid version. A great way to support the channel, the right thing to do if you utilize this information regularly. And we definitely know the names of everybody that does that because you guys are the core foundation of financial support for the channel. Without you, we couldn't fulfill our mission and our goals. So thank you very much for those of you that go ahead and do that. You do that by going to our services, SO Meta Posts, scroll down the monthly subscription, and click on Dogecoin. Or if you're interested in more than one of these cryptos or ticker symbols, I highly recommend the 30 days access to all paid monthly predictions. It includes Amazon, Google, and Nvidia paid versions, which you can only get through that one all paid version. And it includes the paid version of all of these crypto and ticker symbols as well. Our most popular subscription. Thank you to everybody that goes ahead and does that. Let's take a look and see how we're doing in November. Well, so we have this pushing upper end of a range higher here on the 15th, out of a significant trough there on the 14th, pushing the upper end of a range higher, and that continues into, looks like the 17th. That's a cross-reading congruency there, the preview card from early October, and then it's pretty significant decline there. So looks like we pretty much missed the highest high, but we did have some of these prominent highs. One here on the 11th, 13th ends up being on, excuse me, on the 13th, 14th ends up being on the 11th. We had one for the 5th, ended up being on the 6th. Had one for the 2nd. There was one on the 2nd. We also had indications of a lowest low there with the cross-reading congruency, and then we had another lowest low on the 10th. Looks like it ended up being on the 9th. We had another lowest low here on the 14th, or close, and it looks like we nailed that pretty well. And then there wasn't one on the 18th. I'd say this is probably one of our, this might be my worst November reading thus far. Most of the November readings are really solid. I don't like being off that many times by multiple days. That's not up to par by my standards. So I apologize for that, but we'll leave this up so that everybody knows. Even with that said, there's still a lot of information that is successfully extrapolated here, right? We got some of those, nailed the lowest lows pretty well. There's that Ace of Cups on the 21st. Depending on you look on it, it was either the 21st or the 18th. And then there should be a sharp drop here tomorrow on the 28th. We had a prominent high on the 27th, which we nailed, a prominent high on the 23rd. 13th was that Ace of Wands. Yeah, see, the Ace of Wands was opportunity in the midst of a rally to open up a short position before that notable decline into a trough on the 14th. And I would have advised to hold that short position until the 21st. So that would have ended up being pretty solid. If you didn't close on the 14th, which would have been the wise play, you held it through all this, you would have ended up with a solid profit there as well. So overall, it's got a lot of good points to it, but we definitely missed the highs. Pretty outrageous in my opinion for how often we nail the highs. I don't see readings like this very often. Let's get back into it. All right, so end of the day on the 15th is an important trough that we have a big move to the upside sitting out on a 1-month chart. Move continues on the 16th, trade opportunity and a breakout. Brief peak on the 17th, followed by a decline through multiple support levels that continues into the 18th, possibly even into the 19th, where we revisit a support level at a trough early in the day on the 19th. Opportunity there, and then erratic behavior around the 20th, back and forth through the same price level. In the midst of that erratic behavior, we revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity. There's a resistance level highlighted on the 21st that's important on a multi-day scale, and a lot of price change around it, allowing and volatility, allowing for one to play both directions in the market, not at the exact same time, but surrounding that resistance level, like first to the downside and then to the upside, or the other way around. A lot of volatility on the 22nd, and also a prominent trough on the 21st. I might have left out. An important range on the 23rd is highlighted, looks like near a peak or crest at the end of the day. Notable reversal on a multi-day scale that'll stand out on the 24th. A prominent peak on the 25th that forms when we have a sideways rotation, and then a big move higher followed by more sideways rotation. And then we have a rally into a resistance level on the 26th that we then decline from with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. However, on the 27th, we push the upper end of a range higher on a multi-day scale, probably taking us to prominent peaks and crests there, taking us to prominent peaks there as well. And there's also a sharp drop off of that prominent peak, a U-shaped dip on the 28th with a peak at the end of the day or on the cusp of the 28th, 29th, and then a notable decline on the 29th. So it looks like there's probably a really notable reversal on the 29th as well, and a lot of price change covered, like one of those like out of nowhere spikes or out of nowhere drops. It looks like it's like to the upside first and then to the downside, and we have notable decline off of a peak on the 30th, off of a prominent peak. On the 31st, we have an unexpected move higher out of a decline and a prominent trough. The sneak preview for February is a period of sideways, a decline to and through support on a multi-day scale to meet a second support, and then we rotate sideways along that support. We'll talk about February a little bit more in more detail in the paid version, and that's Dogecoin for January. Please, if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Much appreciation to everybody for all your support, and as always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know what to do. You know where to go. Blessings to all my angel investors. By the way, we're going to be announcing the Discord channel, or we're going to be sending out invites, I should say, private invites to our repeated angel investors, people that repeatedly do angel invest, rule of karma donations, I should say. Those are our angel investors. We're going to send them an invite to a private Discord that we're going to start here at the end of the year, and only angel investors will be a part of that Discord. So look out for that if you're one of those angel investors, and if you're not, my friend, the universe will shut you off very fast. You better follow that rule of karma before it's too late. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.